I should have gone from this one to this one. The devastating Second War against the Orcish horde left the lands of Alderaan in a state of shock and disarray. The bloodthirsty orcs, led by the mighty war chief Ogrim Doomhammer, not only smashed their way through the war-filled lands of Khazmodan, but erased many of Alderaan's central provinces as well. The unrelenting orcs even succeeded in ravaging the elves' remote kingdom of Kel'Thalas before their rampage was finally stopped. The Alliance armies led by Sir Anduin Lothar, Uther the Lightbringer, and Admiral Dalen Proudmoore pushed the orcs south into the shattered land of Azeroth, the first kingdom to fall for the orcs' ruthless onslaught. The Alliance forces under Sir Lothar managed to push Doomhammer's clans out of Alderaan and back in the orc control lands of Azeroth. Lothar's forces surrounded the orcs' volcanic citadel of Blackrock Spire, laid siege to their defences. Last ditch effort, Doomhammer and his lieutenant staged a daring charge from the spire and clashed with Lothar's paladins in the centre of the burning steeps. Doomhammer and Lothar squared off in a titanic battle that left both mighty combatants, battered and drained. Though Doomhammer narrowly succeeded in vanquishing Lothar, the great hero's death did not have the effect the warchief had hoped for. Turalyon, Lothar's most trusted lieutenant, took up Lothar's bloodstained shield and rallied his grief-stricken brethren for a vicious counterattack. Under the ragged standard of both Alderaan and Azeroth, Turalyon's forces slaughtered the bulk of Doomhammer's remaining forces in a glorious but terrible rout. There was nothing left for the ragged, scattered orc survivors but to flee the last remaining bastion of orcish power, the Dark Portal. Turalyon and his warriors chased the remaining orcs through the festering swamp of sorrows and into the corrupted, blasted lands where the Dark Portal stood. There, at the foot of the colossal portal, the broken horde and rugged alliance clashed in what will be the last, bloodiest battle of the Second War. Outnumbered and driven mad by the curse of their bloodlust, the orcs inevitably fell before the wrath of the alliance. Doomhammer was taken prisoner and escorted to Alderaan while his broken clans were rounded up and hauled north, back to Alderaan. And as a further detail, into the shattered land of Azeroth. And they kind of repeat it here. They pushed the orcs south in Shadowland of Azeroth, first kingdom to fall. The Alliance forces under him managed to push them out of Alderaan and back in the orc control lands of Azeroth. They kind of repeat it, but with different details. It's really weird. But they're using the old name for Stormwind. Stormwind was the first kingdom to fall. That's the old name for it, Azeroth. That name then passed on to the planet as a whole, with Stormwind being the kingdom's name, rather than maybe just the capital city. So it's the Kingdom of Stormwind now, rather than Kingdom of Azeroth with the capital being Stormwind. I don't know the reason for the change, but there you go. On to the next. Civil War in the Plaguelands. Ner'zhul, the Lich King, knew that his time was short. Imprisoned within the Frozen Throne, he suspected that Kil'jaeden would send his agents to destroy him. The damage caused by Illidan's spell had ruptured the Frozen Throne. Thus, the Lich King was losing his power daily. Desperate to save himself, he called his greatest mortal servant to his side, the Dead Knight, Prince Arthas. Though his powers were drained by the Lich King's weakness, Arthas had been involved in the civil war in Alderaan. Half of the standing undead forces, led by the Banshee Sylvanas Windrunner, staged a coup for control over the undead empire. Arthas, called by the Lich King, was forced to leave the Scourge in the hands of his lieutenant, Kel'Thuzad, as the war escalated throughout the Plaguelands. Ultimately, Sylvanas and her rebel undead, known as Forsaken, claimed the ruined capital city of Alderaan as their own. Constructing their own bastion beneath the wrecked city, the Forsaken vowed to defeat the Scourge and drive Kel'Thuzad and his minions from the land. Weakened but determined to save his master, Arthas reached Northrend only to find Illidan's Naga and Blood Elves waiting for him. He and his Nerubian allies raced against Illidan's forces to reach the Ice-Crown Glacier and defend the Frozen Throne. Much shorter entry. The chief warden of the internment camps Adelis Blackmoor watched over the captive orcs from his prison stronghold, Durnhold. One orc in particular had always held his interest, the orphaned infant he had found nearly 18 years before. Blackmoor had raised the young male as a favourite slave and named him Troll. Blackmoor taught the orc about tactics, philosophy, and combat. Troll was even trained as a gladiator, all the while the corrupt warden sought to mold the orc into a weapon. Despite his harsh upbringing, the young Troll grew into a strong, quick-witted orc, and he knew in his heart that a slave's life was not for him. As he grew to maturity, he learned about his people, the orcs, whom he had never met. After their defeat, most of them had been placed into internment camps. Rumor had it that Doomhammer, the orc leader, had escaped from Lordaeron and gone into hiding. Only one rogue clan still operated in secret, trying to evade the watchful eyes of the Alliance. The resourceful yet experienced Troll decided to escape from Blackmoor's fortress and set off to find others of his kind. During his journey, Troll visited the internment camps and found his once mighty race to be strangely cowed and lethargic. Having not found the proud warriors he'd hoped to discover, Troll set out to find the last undefeated orc chieftain, Grom Hellscream. Constantly hunted by the humans, Hellscream nevertheless held onto the horde's unquenchable will to fight, aided only by his own devoted Warsong clan. Hellscream continued to wage an underground war against the oppression of his beleaguered people. Unfortunately, Hellscream could never find a way to rouse the captured orcs from their stupor. The impressionable Troll, inspired by Hellscream's idealism, developed strong empathy for the Horde and its warrior traditions. Seeking the truth of his own origins, Troll travelled north to find the legendary Frostwolf clan. Troll learned that Gul'dan had exiled the Frostwolves during the early days of the First War. Also discovered that he was the son and heir of the orc hero Durotan, the true chieftain of the Frostwolves who had been murdered in the wilds nearly 20 years before. Under the tutelage of the venerable shaman Drektar, Troll studied his people's ancient shamanistic culture, which had been forgotten under Gul'dan's evil rule. Over time, Troll became a powerful shaman and took his rightful place as chieftain of the exiled Frostwolves. Empowered by the elven elements themselves and driven to find his destiny, Troll set off to free the captive clans and heal his race of demonic corruption. During his travels, Troll found the aged warchief, Ogrim Doomhammer, who had been living as a hermit for many years. Doomhammer, who had been a close friend of Troll's father, decided to follow the young visionary orc and help him free the captive clans. Supported by the many veteran chieftains, Troll ultimately succeeded in revitalizing the Horde and giving his people new spiritual identity. To symbolize his people's rebirth, Troll returned to Blackmoor's fortress of Durnhold, but a decisive end to his former master's plans by laying siege to the internment camps. This victory was not without its price. During the liberation of one camp, Doomhammer fell in battle. Troll took up Doomhammer's legendary warhammer and donned his black plate armor to become the new warchief of the Horde. During the following months, Troll's small but volatile horde laid waste to the internment camps and stymied the Alliance's best effort to counter its clever strategies. Encouraged by his best friend and mentor, Grom Hellscream, Troll worked to ensure that his people would never be slaves again. And that's been the new Horde. I don't really know what the Alliance were meant to do, though, outside of sticking the Horde in internment camps. They had to break the portal to stop the Horde from getting reinforcements. So it's not like they could, you know when you have POWs, you just send them back to their own country after war, tell them fuck off. There's no orc country. The orcs are an inherently hostile breed thanks to the demonic curse on them. They're just inherent enemies. So the fact that they weren't all just put to the sword and cut down where they stood was amazing. Because honestly, that would have been my viewpoint. Kill them all. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the Alliance could have done outside of that. Maybe the slaving Blackmoor had been doing was no, but sticking them into these camps, I'm not really sure what else the Alliance could have done outside of full-scale genocide. It just fully extinguishing all orcs outside of the Frostwolf and Warsong on Azeroth, the planet. outside of doing that, I don't know what else they could have done. Because, like, oh, they give them back to Grom, he's just going to use them to keep fighting them in an open scale kind of way, you know? Because Grom will not stand down. He was still an active enemy. You don't send the POWs back outside of, prisoner trades and shit, you know? You, you don't release them till the war's over, you know? And the war would never be over. Not with Grom and his unrelenting bloodlust. So I'm not really sure what else they could have done, you know? I've seen some people complain like, oh, the Alliance is bad, they did this. Well, what else were they to do? Wipe them all out? Because that's the only other option. The Kaldorei and the Well of Eternity. 10,000 years before the Orcs and humans first clashed in their first war, the world of Azeroth cradled only one massive continent surrounded by the infinite raging seas. The landmass known as Kalimdor was home to a number of desperate races and creatures, all vying for survival amongst the savage elements of the waking world. At the dark continent's center was a mysterious lake of incandescent energies. The lake, which would later be called the Well of Eternity, was the true heart of the planet's magic and natural power. Drawing its energies from the infinite great dark beyond the world, the well acted as a mystical font, sending its potent energies out across the world to nourish life in all its wondrous forms. In time, a primitive tribe of nocturnal humanoids cautiously made their way to the edges of the mesmerizing, enchanted lake. The feral nomadic humanoids, drawn by the well's strange energies, built crude homes upon its tranquil shores. Over time, the well's cosmic power affected the strange tribe, making them strong, wise, and virtually immortal. The tribe adopted the name Kaldorei, which meant children of the stars in their native tongue. To celebrate their budding society, they constructed great structures and temples around the lake's periphery. The Kaldorei, or Night Elves as they will later be known, worshipped the moon goddess Olun, and believed that she slept within the well's shimmering depths during the daylight hours. The early Night Elf priests and seers studied the well with insatiable curiosity, driven to plumb its untold secrets and power. As the society grew, the Night Elves explored the breadth of Kalimdor and encountered its myriad denizens. The only creatures that gave them pause were the ancient and powerful dragons. Though the great serpentine beasts were often reclusive, they did much to safeguard the known lands from potential threats. The Night Elves believed that the dragons held themselves to be the protectors of the world, and that they and their secrets were best left alone. In time, the Night Elves' curiosity led them to meet and befriend a number of powerful entities, not the least of which was Cineris, a mighty demigod of the primordial forest lands. The great-hearted Cineris grew fond of the inquisitive Night Elves and spent a great deal of time teaching them about the natural world. The tranquil Kaldorei developed a strong empathy for the living force of Kalimdor and reveled in the harmonious balance of nature. Yet as the seemingly endless ages passed, the Night Elves' civilization expanded both territorially and culturally. Their temples, roads, and dwelling places stretched across the breadth of the Dark Continent. Huh? Well, that's annoying. Ashara, the Night Elf's beautiful and gifted queen, built an immense, wondrous palace on the Welsh shore that housed her favorite servitors within its bejeweled halls. Her servitors, whom she called the Kaldorei, or Highborn, doted on her every command and believed themselves to be greater than the rest of their lower caste brethren. Though Queen Ashara was loved equally by all of her people, the Highborn were secretly hated by the jealous masses. Sharing the priest's curiosity towards the Well of Eternity, Shara ordered the educated Highborn to plumb its secrets and reveal its true purpose in the world. The Highborn buried themselves in their work and studied the well ceaselessly. In time, they developed the ability to manipulate and control the well's cosmic energies. As the reckless experiments progressed, the Highborn found that they could use their newfound powers to either create or destroy at their leisure. The hapless Highborn had stumbled upon primitive magic and were now resolved to devote themselves to its mastery. Although they agreed that magic was inherently dangerous if handled irresponsibly, Ashara and her Highborn began to practice their spellcraft with reckless abandon. Cenarius and many of the wizened Night Elf scholars warned that only calamity would result from toying with the curry volatile arts of magic. But Ashara and her followers stubbornly continued to expand their burgeoning powers. As their powers grew, a distinct change came over Ashara and the Highborn. The haughty, aloof upper class became increasingly callous and cruel towards their fellow Night Elves. A dark, brooding pall veiled Ashara's once entrancing beauty. She began to withdraw from her loving subjects and refused to interact with any but her trusted Highborn priests. A young, brazen scholar named Furion, Stormrage, who had spent much of his time studying the well's effects, began to suspect that a terrible power was corrupting the Highborn and his beloved queen. Though he could not conceive that the evil was conceive the evil that was to come, he knew that the Night Elves' lives would be changed forever. So, is this a new one? Beyond the Dark Portal. Yes. I've already done that one. I always feel awkward when guilds reach out to me out of the blue. It's just like, I don't know, I just feel awkward. I think I just need to prep myself before I talk to people. I need to I need to prepare myself psychologically. Okay, this is the last one. I think. That's the one? No, it's only these solitary books. Only a few months after Nethergard's completion, the energies of the Dark Portal coalesced and opened up a new gateway to Draenor. Many Orc clans under the leadership of the Elder Shaman Ner'zhul charged forth into Azeroth once again. Intent on stealing a number of magical artifacts that would increase Ner'zhul's power, the Orcs planned to open new portals in Draenor that allow them to escape their doomed Red World forever. Convinced that Ner'zhul was planning a new offensive against the Alliance, King Tyrannus of Lordaeron sent his armies into Draenor to end the Orcish threat once and for all. Led by Khadgar and General Traelian, the Alliance forces clashed with the Orcs across the burning landscape. Even with the aid of the Elven Ranger Alira, the Dwarf Kurdran, and the veteran soldier Danit, Khadgar was unable to prevent Ner'zhul from opening his portals to other worlds. The tremendous magical storms caused by the portal's converging energies began to tear the ravaged world apart. Ner'zhul, followed only by his most trusted servants, managed to escape through one of the portals as Khadgar fought desperately to return his comrades to Azeroth. Realizing that they would be trapped in the dying world, Khadgar and his companions selflessly decided to destroy the Dark Portal so that Azeroth would not be harmed by Draenor's violent destruction. By all accounts, the heroes were successful in destroying the portal and saving Azeroth. But whether or not they escaped the death throes of Draenor remains to be seen. And with that, I've read all the books I've noticed in that library. Sadly, unlike other games, you can't do readings like Cyberpunk, you can't do readings wherever you are. You pick up a note and do a reading anywhere. You have to do a reading there and then. But yeah, I'll try and read each book and do a video for it. I think I've read enough as is though right now. I want to get back to playing. I've been at it a while. It would be nice if there was an achievement, not an achievement, but a mod that showed you where the books are, as they do exist in retail.
I am listening.
Hey there. Keldra Dawnbreeze. That is the... I can't zoom in, but that is the High Elf model from Classic. Could you stop bouncing? We know it. You have boobs. That is the High Elf model from Classic. Not all High Elves have become Blood Elves. Not all of them. Some have stayed with the Alliance. Not too many of them. Apparently, two more being added in the War Within, or maybe it's Darkheart. I don't know, but you see her there. You see at least one of them in Burning Crusade. There's a few throughout, but Blizzard seems insistent on not letting them be a playable race. We got Void Elves instead of High Elves when that's what everyone wanted. Well, that's what a lot of people wanted. No one wanted Void Elves because they weren't a concept yet. Personally, I'm curious to see the inside of that. Because apparently that's an even harder prison, you know? The even worse are shoved in there. And we've seen what's in the stockade, so I'm just curious what's shoved in there. Me getting booted off there was kind of random. It's getting me paranoid. But me being paranoid is not exactly a new thing. Maybe I should have just said yeah to that corp. That guild. I kind of want to be in one, but I'm just feeling awkward, you know? I think I just need to like psychologically prepare myself to talk to people. I'm sorry. I may do videos, but I'm actually a very socially awkward person. Okay, let's see. Sure. Honestly, it's a bit high. Wonder if it's better to smelt that or not. Oof. We'll hold off on that. Yeah, spellbook. Better just to auction it. Okay.
What can I do for you?
Band of butter. Love it.
Have a good one. Greetings.
you know, we're WoW trying to auction that. Uh, 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 uh. Hmm. Okay, boar ribs. Oh, I got it. I have actually a funny story I remember from years back. I wanted to join a guild, but I felt really nervous messaging them. But something happened and I ended up messaging another guild instead. So I joined them, and it went fine for a time, but eventually the guild ended up dying. They ended up folding into another guild, the one I wanted to join in the first place. And that guild was taking all the members of the guild that I had joined. So I got into the guild I wanted to join in the first place by way of that other guild. I don't remember the names of the guilds or but yeah. This was when I was in Burning Crusade. Yeah, that was Burning Crusade time for me. So early Wrath. I do remember one guy that was in it. I mentioned him before actually. Blaze Mage, old guildie from that. Um, I think it was that guild. They he just sticks out in his memory. One of the last memories I have of back then, as it's all gone kind of jumbled at this point. Um, he was in a car crash, and I messaged him ages after, just how are you kind of thing, and he's doing better now, but I don't remember. I honestly don't remember the names of anything else. Actually, I think I actually still have the. I think that guild ended up collapsing eventually, and the remaining members went on to found a new guild, and I joined that one, and that since I think fell apart. But I ended up leaving Draenor and going to another server. I think I actually have the old guild leader from that third guild still my real ID, though she hasn't been on for years. I wonder, when you send someone a message on that, does it stay with them? Or like, say, let's say they don't come on for ages. Will they get that message eventually, or does it not hold things, or does it hold things only for so long? Like, what's the details of it? I wonder. I've also fallen behind on uploading videos recently. I was one video behind from the other day, but I also failed to upload anything yesterday. So I'm going to have to. And then there's the video for today. So now I'm 3 videos behind. So what I think I'm going to do is upload 2 today and then 2 tomorrow. Because I'm also owing you 2 EVE Online vids now. After I'm done recording here, I'm going to go and play more. I'm going to go edit more EVE Online. Remember, I was stressing about trying to find a session that was, or like stuff I wanted to edit out. I found it earlier. I was telling you at the start of this session today, wasn't I? But yeah, I found it, and I can remove it. That's beautiful.
Can I help you?
How
See
are
you
you?
later.
Have a good one. Looking for something specific?
My worry over the stuff I wanted to cut out had been putting me off, editing, because I'll be stressing too much about it. It was ended up feeling daunting and overwhelming. So I was so happy to finally have it found, and I got so lucky. It wasn't the first one I checked, but it was within the first session that I checked. Each session, a session may be one session, or it could get split up into multiple sub-sessions. So session 1, and that's it. Or session 1, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, all the way down to Z. And then it gets kind of messy with Z, 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 Z. You know, I once had it go like 26 past Z. It was for a Kenshi thing. It was hell. I eventually dealt with it, but it was hell. Not each one's going to be a level now. Morog fin soup is the only one that will. It's nice food, but it's really not worth the cost. Oh my god. I'm gonna keep some boar ribs for myself, but I'm gonna sell the rest.
See you around.
Seek out Chandrina in Silverwind Refuge. She can sell you the expert cookbook.
For the Alliance.
That's Dunmoreau, ain't it? Or not Dunmoreau, Akmodan. Isn't that this over here? I do believe so. Sadly, I don't have Talsamar on my flight path. Yeah, no, it's bound to be there. And not plague lands.
What can I do for you? Be careful.
You need something? See you later.
Tangy clam meat. Not worth that much.
Step on up. Safe travels.
Alright. Should I head up there to Talsamar? Should I head up there? I think I should, in all honesty. Give it a wander, and then I can get back to questing. Go up there, get it, then I can work on these 2 Leaprooms.
Good day to you. Safe travel.
You know, within WoW, in a sense, I kind of miss Rat / Kata Paladin. Um, I don't know. I kind of miss bits about.
Well met. Light question.
Um, I just have good memories of back then. That's all. Thinking maybe I should edit the name out of that old guildie. Just getting all nostalgic, you know? I'll stop here for a sec. Future me can decide. Not that future, but eh.